Hi, I'm Liam, this is Puka Films, and I'm currently sitting here at my desk a few hours after Rick's final episode. While the episode was surprisingly fantastic, its very nature is still worrying for the franchise. The Walking Dead and its companion show Fear the Walking Dead are struggling somewhat, to be honest, and though I think the new showrunner Angela Kang has things under control, I think one small change really could have fixed things up a little. Firstly, let's address both shows because there's two problems that I see have quote-unquote ruined these shows. With the main show, I think the crisis point was killing off Carl. Chandler Riggs was not expecting it. Carl was meant to survive essentially until the end. He showed no signs of wanting to leave, and it was essentially done for shock. His character arc didn't really make sense either. He'd always been a character struggling with growing up in violence. He's a dark, moody teenager who'd become desensitized to killing. It didn't really fit with his Season 8 death or his Season 8 story, and now with Rick leaving, we have no Carl to pick up his legacy. Now, on Fear the Walking Dead, I think the big crisis point is bringing Morgan over to the show. Having a character take over your show as two of the old main cast, including the main character, are killed within episodes of each other is not exactly healthy for any show, big or small. And while many people have been actively hating on Fear and Gimple for moving Morgan into the show and essentially hijacking it, and I think the finale did show some optimism for the future and for Season 5, this season, especially the second half, wasn't great. So how would we fix such a franchise? Well, I don't have a fix that will make everything perfect again, but I do think one small change could have helped things smooth over a lot. The change is swap the death of Carl for the death of Morgan. Imagine this. In the mid-season finale, Morgan, who at this point is in an unstoppable killing machine, becomes so distracted on killing Savers, in a shock twist he takes on too many walkers and is bitten. In the mid-season premiere, he amputates his own arm in a graphic scene and manages to stop himself from turning, but only just. He's in a bad way, and over the next few episodes he would hallucinate a now teenage Dwayne and talk to him over his regret killing, like in the comics, and how he regrets killing and how he can never escape it, and he can never keep to his pacifistic ways that he's been taught by Eastman. He would be found by Rick, and the two would set up in a cabin against some walkers. Morgan begins to succumb to his wounds and tells Rick of the better future he's believing in and he's imagining, and that he thinks there should be a time where the killing must end. As he begins to die, Rick, in a situation where he has to put him down in a similar style from Lee in the video games, and then once Morgan is dead and once Negan is captured, Negan ends up in the cell that Morgan built for him. It's a nice symbol and it makes sense. This would have been the big death for Season 8. Morgan has been long gone in the comics, and it means it doesn't hurt any comic character arcs like Carl's did. He's a character that has always tried to balance pacifism and his inner rage, and dying would force him to come to a middle ground between the two. It meant that he wouldn't have been moved to Fear, so that show could continue naturally, especially after its amazing and best third season, and then Carl would have still been alive. Perhaps this would have made Rick stay a little longer, but even if he didn't and Rick still dies, having Rick created this future for both his children makes Carl the legacy character we deserve, a now adult man after the time skip. Seeing both of Rick's kids survive is a whole lot more satisfying and lets a bunch of comic storylines stay in place. It's just one change, but I think with the Negan fake out being the first life that the show lost, and Carl dying being the second, I wonder how many lives the show has left. The Rick episode is sure to be controversial for years to come, but the time skip at the end was perhaps the smartest move they've ever made on the show. So I do think there's hope, but had Carl been there too, and Fear had continued as it was, I think we'd be on even stronger ground. Anyway, that's just some quick thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below.